Belize cost of living warning: the cheap Belize fantasy is dangerous. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe for more grounded Belize relocation updates and join my email list for the real-world insights people need before making a move. Now, let's talk about something important. A lot of people still talk about Belize like it is automatically cheap, and I understand why. Compared to many places in the US, Canada, or Europe, Belize can feel simpler, warmer, slower, and in some areas, more affordable. But this week, Belize sent a cost of living warning that future expats should not ignore. Regular gasoline in Belize City was reported at $14.83 per gallon, Belize dollars, that's over $7 US, after jumping $1.32 overnight. And that is not just a driver problem. That is a Belize cost of living problem, because fuel touches almost everything: groceries, taxis, water taxis, construction, deliveries, restaurant prices, imported goods. So if you are thinking about moving to Belize, this is where I want you to slow down and think like a resident, not a tourist. Because I've seen this go wrong before. People come down, fall in love with the water, the food, the pace, the people, and that feeling of freedom. Then they build a budget around the best case version of Belize. And that is dangerous. Not because Belize is bad, because Belize is real. Belize can still be affordable. But affordable does not mean immune from inflation. And it definitely does not mean every expat will spend less. Some people move to Belize and accidentally recreate their North American lifestyle at island prices. Imported groceries, air conditioning running all day, frequent restaurant meals, private transportation, water taxi runs, medical trips abroad, home repairs with materials that cost more than expected. Then they wonder why Belize does not feel as cheap as the internet promised. That is the problem with the cheap Belize fantasy. It leaves out real life. And real life needs margin, not fantasy numbers. Margin. The biggest mistake is not moving to Belize. The biggest mistake is moving to Belize with a vacation budget and calling it a life plan. A vacation hides things from you. You may not notice fuel pressure when you are here for 10 days. You may not feel delivery costs the same way. You may not think about how much your favorite imported item depends on fuel, freight, and supply chains. And you may not ask what happens when prices rise, but your retirement income stays the same. That is where people get surprised. Belize may still work beautifully for you, but it works better when you ask better questions before you move. Can I live comfortably with more local food instead of mostly imported food? Will I need a vehicle? Do I understand the difference between island costs and inland costs? Am I budgeting for repairs, storms, backup power, medical backup, and price increases? That is not fear. That is adult planning with a passport. Healthcare is another piece of this. There has been debate around national health insurance in Belize, and the Prime Minister said there are currently no plans to charge Belizeans for basic NHI services. For expats, I would not read that as panic. I would read it as a reminder that Belize's healthcare system is still evolving. Better healthcare would be a major long-term positive. But retirees still need a backup plan. That may mean international health insurance, medical evacuation coverage, savings for treatment in Mexico, Guatemala, the US, or somewhere else. And choosing where you live based partly on access to clinics, hospitals, transportation, and emergency care. I know that is not as exciting as choosing between beach towns, but it matters more. A pretty view does not help much if you cannot get care when you need it. And then there is climate readiness. Belize gives people freedom, space, land, warmth, nature, but Belize freedom comes with maintenance. If you're looking at rural land, off-grid living, Cayo, Toledo, or anywhere surrounded by nature, you need to think about water, fire, storms, road access, backup power, internet backup, drainage, and hurricane season. Nature is beautiful, but nature also needs systems. And one quieter story this week was cybersecurity and digital government. Belize hosted a cybersecurity conference focused on AI, cyber threats, public awareness, digital rights, and protecting critical systems. Now that may not sound like a big expat issue at first, but it matters. Because as Belize becomes more digital, expats need better fraud and document safety habits. Be careful with immigration paperwork, property documents, online banking, wire transfers, people who rush you, and those "I know somebody" shortcuts from people without credibility. Belize is relationship-based in many ways, and that can be beautiful. But paperwork still matters. Receipts matter, due diligence matters, independent legal advice matters, especially when money, land, residency, or retirement plans are involved. You do not want to learn that lesson the hard way. So here's the real takeaway. Belize can still be a strong move, but it needs to be planned like a real country, not marketed like a fantasy. Fuel prices remind you to build a real cost of living budget. Healthcare reminds retirees to keep a backup plan. Climate readiness reminds rural buyers that land requires systems. And cybersecurity reminds future expats to protect their documents, money, and identity as Belize becomes more digital. None of this means you should avoid Belize. It means you should respect Belize. That is the difference. Most people choose Belize based on how it feels. The smarter move is choosing Belize based on how it functions. Belize can still be affordable, but only if you stop planning around the cheap Belize fantasy. Plan around the real Belize. That is where better decisions begin. If Belize is on your radar, make sure you join my email list for grounded real-world relocation insights. Also, subscribe for more Belize updates like this. And if this helped you, please like this video and share it with someone thinking about moving to Belize. See you in the next one.